Nobody tells you this part. You can hit every savings target, do everything right financially, and still walk into retirement after 50 completely unprepared for what actually awaits you. Not the brochure version, the real version. And today, that is exactly what we are getting into. Welcome back. If you are somewhere in your 50s, sitting at your desk on a Tuesday afternoon wondering whether you could actually pull the trigger and walk away, this video is for you. Because retiring after 50 is not just a financial decision. It is one of the most psychologically complex transitions a person can make. And most people only find that out after they have already jumped. So let us start with the financial reality, because you do need to understand this before anything else. Here is the first thing that shocks most people. When you retire before the age of 59 and a half, you cannot just freely access your traditional retirement accounts without consequences. There is a 10% early withdrawal penalty that kicks in. That is a painful tax on your own savings. But there are legal pathways around it that most people have never heard of. The first is something called Rule 72T, also known as substantially equal periodic payments. This IRS provision allows you to access your retirement account penalty-free before 59 and a half, but there is a significant catch. You have to commit to a fixed withdrawal schedule for at least 5 years, or until you reach 59 and a half, whichever timeline is longer. You cannot change that schedule, you cannot pause it. And if you violate it, the IRS comes back and applies penalties retroactively to every single withdrawal you already took. It is strict, inflexible, and really designed for people who have thought this through carefully. The income it generates, depending on your balance, can be quite modest. Which means most people using this approach also need supplemental income from somewhere, whether that is part-time consulting, freelance work, or a separate taxable brokerage account they can tap without restrictions. Now here is where things get more interesting. If you can hold on until age 55, a completely different rule comes into play. The Rule of 55 allows you to access the 401k or 403b from the employer you just left, completely penalty-free, with no fixed formula to follow. No rigid schedule, no 5-year lock-in, just flexible access to your money. It only applies to that specific employer plan, not IRAs, but that flexibility is enormous compared to the 72T route. 5 additional years of contributions and compounding can meaningfully change the income your portfolio is capable of generating. The math on this is genuinely striking once you see it laid out. And at age 60, no special rules are needed at all. By that point, your traditional accounts are fully accessible, and if you have been consistently contributing and staying invested through market cycles, your portfolio balance can be dramatically larger than it would have been a decade earlier. Compounding is not a gradual thing at that stage. When you already have a substantial balance, the growth in those final working years can be almost violent in its speed. But here is the truth that the financial calculators will never show you, and this is where the conversation gets real. Retiring after 50 is not just about the money. It is about who you are without the job. For decades, most of us have wrapped our entire identity around what we do. Our job title, our company, our level of productivity. We introduce ourselves by our profession. We measure our worth by our output. And when you retire, that entire framework disappears practically overnight. Some people step into that silence and feel an enormous sense of relief. Others feel completely lost. Both responses are completely valid. But neither one is talked about enough before people make the leap. Here is something that repeatedly comes up when people reflect on retiring in their 50s. The exhaustion that most of us write off as aging is actually something else entirely. After years and years of high-stakes responsibility, of managing deadlines and other people's expectations and endless performance reviews, what many people are experiencing is not simply getting older. It is deep, long-accumulated burnout. And the difference only becomes obvious when the pressure finally lifts. When it does, things change. Sleep improves. Patience improves. The low-grade anxiety that was so constant you stopped noticing it just disappears one Sunday night and you realize it has been there your whole career. But burnout recovery is just one side of the coin. There is another side that requires real preparation.
Purpose. This is where people genuinely struggle. If you were not someone who had hobbies or passions outside of work, retirement can feel like a very long Sunday afternoon with nothing on the schedule. The older retirees who carry the most regret are not the ones who left too soon financially. They are the ones who left without any real sense of what their days would look like. They wish they had cultivated interests earlier. Travel, creative projects, staying physically active, community involvement. The things that keep a person mentally alive and engaged. And speaking of regrets, here is something worth sitting with. When you talk to people in their late 70s and early 80s looking back on their retirement years, the most common regret is not that they spent too much or that they took too many vacations. It is that they waited too long. They wish they had stepped away sooner when their health was better, when their energy was higher, when they could actually do the things they had been saving for all their lives. Your 60s are not the same as your 70s. Your early 60s are not the same as your late 60s. The physical and energetic window for certain experiences is real, and it does close. Gradually at first, then faster than expected. So what does all of this mean practically? It means retiring after 50 is genuinely achievable for many people, but it requires more than just a savings number. It requires a plan for accessing your money without triggering unnecessary penalties. It requires an honest assessment of what your monthly expenses actually are. It requires a bridge strategy for the years before Social Security becomes available, which does not start until age 62 at the earliest, and ideally later if you can afford to wait, since delaying increases your monthly benefit significantly. And beyond the finances, it requires a genuine vision for your life after work. Not a vague idea of relaxing, but a real picture. What will your mornings look like? What will give your week structure and meaning? What relationships will you invest in? What will get you out of bed with some sense of purpose? The people who retire after 50 and genuinely thrive are not the ones who had the biggest portfolios. They are the ones who had thought carefully about both halves of the equation, the financial and the personal. So here is what I want to leave you with. If you are sitting somewhere in your 50s, feeling tired and wondering whether you have earned the right to step away, the answer is probably more nuanced than yes or no. The financial path exists, the tools exist. The question is whether you have done the deeper work of figuring out what you are walking toward, not just what you are walking away from. That distinction will determine everything about how this chapter of your life actually feels. Drop a comment below and let me know where you are at. Are you planning an early exit? Are you nervous about what comes after? Have you already taken the leap and want to share what surprised you? This is a conversation worth having out loud. If you found value in this, please like this video and subscribe. New content goes up every single week, and every video is built around helping you navigate this transition with your eyes wide open. I will see you in the next one.